And good morning, everybody here at Blackburn College this morning. This is the PB&J podcast with Parker. B's absent today, and Jared Sandlin.
Hello, Parker. Good morning. Yes, I think this is a great opportunity to take this beautiful day that we have been blessed with and just take the opportunity to dive into some important facts that are very prevalent here at Blackburn College.
Today, we'll be discussing a lot of statistics about race, more specifically about student athletes. So please stand by and enjoy the factual information that Jared Sandlin will be giving to you today. But first, I'd like to give you some information about the college that we are speaking about. We are talking about Blackburn College here in Carlinville, Illinois. It's a small campus that houses just about 650 students, give or take some that commute. It's also in the small town of Carlinville, Illinois, the population around 5,000. So what we're talking about today is retention rates, more importantly, among student athletes. Now, predominantly, this town is white, and a lot of the students that come from surrounding cities come from white families. But we do also have students that come from other areas, other people that transfer from St. Louis area, Chicago area, out-of-state people. So more importantly, we're going to have Jared Sandlin talk about the 2010-2011 stats for first-time, full-time athletes through a 6-year process of graduation.
Yes, as Parker stated, Blackburn is a small campus with a limited number of students, and therefore the percentages may be somewhat skewed due to a lack of data. The specific study that we're looking at today is of a 6-year period focusing on the group of first-time, full-time student athletes and the correlation with graduation rate. According to this particular study, in the 2010-2011 academic year, there were 44 first-time, full-time student athletes. Of those 44 students, a whopping 52% of students graduated within 6 years. Of these specific 44 athletes, only 25% of students of color went on to graduate, while the percentage for whites is more than double that, sitting at 58%.
There's an interesting stat I came by here, Sandlin, and it's of the first-year full-time student-athlete students from the fall of 2016. The retention rate of that class is 56%, 62% being color, and 50% being white. It strikes me a little odd, though, Sandlin, because as we looked at the stat that you just gave us, and it clearly states that nearly double of white students are graduating more so than the colored students, but the retention rate of colored students when it comes to athletics is a lot higher than the whites. I find it kind of odd that the graduation rate is a lot higher of whites, but the retention of these students are coming back of color a lot higher. Those don't correlate. Do you have anything on that?
Well, Parker, the first thing that comes to my attention is the fact that 62% of colored first-time, full-time student athletes are returning to Blackburn, while only graduating at a 25% clip.
That's a very interesting statistic you brought in there, Jared Sandlin. Now, this is what really irks me a little bit here. So what it seems like is that Blackburn College welcomes any student of color to be an athlete here. But when it comes to the academic success of these students, they're not fulfilling those needs. I'm kind of curious of what's going on here. Is it the fact that there's not enough resources for these students to succeed here? Is Blackburn the environment that invites these kind of student athletes here to pretty much use their talents for what they're good at here and forget about them academically? If I'm not mistaken here, Sandlin, this is an institution that wants to graduate all its students. And although that is a very tough thing to do, at least the student athletes here have a little more motivation to graduate. I do find it kind of sad, also being a student athlete, and I identify as color, that I think it was very important here to be able to play a sport and graduate. That was the point of coming to college, was that you killed two birds with one stone. So that brings the question of the day. What can Blackburn College do to help the students of color who play a sport here have a higher success rating when it comes to graduation? So please give us a call, give us a text, anything at the imaginary number we're going to give to you at the end of the show, and we'll answer it next week when we jump back on to PB&J here in Carlinville, Illinois. And welcome back to PB&J. We're going to have our closing statements here about this lovely but not so lovely conversation about race, about colored student athletes not graduating as much as they should be here at Blackburn College.
Well, Parker, if we're looking strictly at the statistics, there's without a doubt things that can and should be fixed here at Blackburn College. There are many resources that could be tapped into to make things better for students of color to get those higher graduation rates that we were talking about earlier.
I was thinking of, and I was talking to Sandlin over the break about this, I was thinking of a suggestion, maybe first off having a survey with all these student athletes saying what is happening here with them, what kind of experiences they're having here at college. And there may have been surveys like this. I feel like they have not been implemented yet. So I hope another survey like that can go out here so we can get some nice data from the actual students that are here right now. Of course, times have changed. Of course, curriculum has changed. But what I do know is this, that the statistics show that our colored student athletes are not graduating as much as they should be, and not nearly as much as the white counterpart that they play with on the same field. So that is our episode today. This is Parker. B is not here, and
Jarrett.
Please have a lovely rest of your winter. It will be cold.